Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming out today to this event. On behalf of myself, Andrew Lafleur, and Alex Wilson, we work together at REMAX. Welcome. We're very excited to tell you more about Television City and to tell you specifically why we are both personally investing in the project and why hopefully by the end of this you'll be interested in doing so yourself too. Brad Lamb is also on his way. He's going to be giving he's going to be here as well soon to hopefully say some words too.
And I'll jump in. In regards to questions. In regards to questions, we're going to do questions at the end. You can come find us out in the
Directly,
floor and everything like that. So just hold the questions on the end because we want to make this as quick as possible for everyone. And then you have as much time as you want with us outside on the floor to ask us any questions.
Yeah, we're here all day. It's fairly hot in this room. It's going to get warmer, so we'll do our presentation, and then you'll be free to take your time outside. There's also representatives from Brad Lamb here as well who can answer a lot of questions about the project as well. Sorry? Yep. Mic's good. Is the mic good? Mike's good. Okay.
Great.
Mike is good. We are recording. Yeah, so we'll jump in. I'll do my.
Yeah, you depart and I'll jump in.
Bit. Okay. Great. Okay, so again, why I'm investing in Television City, and both of us are investing. So the first question you might be wondering is, we're going to be telling you a lot about Hamilton and why it's such a great place to invest, why Television City is a great place to invest. You might be wondering, well, if it's so great, why haven't we heard more about it before? Why is this sort of just like this new thing on the radar? Why, Andrew, why, Alex, are you just jumping into this thing now? Well, the truth is that up until recently, Hamilton has been considered sort of a B market in sort of real estate jargon terms. But that's about to change. There's some significant things that have happened recently and that are just about to happen that we're going to tell you about. That is really changing the face of Hamilton and really changing the whole market as a whole. This was very interesting. This just happened a few months ago. I don't know if anyone has heard of Skyline REIT. Skyline REIT is a major REIT and real estate investment trust company. They own apartment buildings, essentially. And something very interesting happened a few months ago. They sold off a huge chunk of their portfolio. They sold off all their Hamilton properties. And why that's significant is the reason why they did it. So this is a sophisticated investment trust that focuses on B markets, tertiary markets, so smaller centers and smaller cities. And basically, the reason why they sold Hamilton was not because things were going bad, but because things were going very well. So the market essentially has matured to the point, in their point of view, where it's no longer in their target market for the type of markets that they invest in. So they actually went and sold off all their properties. 173 million was the sale price. So the quote here from the CEO: like other growing cities, Hamilton has changed over the years and is now recognized as more of a primary center. So it's trending more towards a Toronto as opposed to towards a Kitchener-Waterloo, a London, a tertiary market like that. It's interesting. So Hamilton, I believe, is at a tipping point. And for those of you familiar with the tipping point, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what tipping point means, Malcolm Gladwell wrote this book called Tipping Point. He calls it, the tipping point is that magic moment when an idea, trend, or social behavior crosses a threshold, tips, and then things spread like wildfire. So Hamilton is sort of at that moment, if you will. This is Hamilton sort of right on the edge here, where we believe the market is really about to take off. And it's something that I like to call the Hamilton's billion-dollar tipping point specifically. What I'm referring to is this thing called the Pier 8 redevelopment. Has anyone heard of this Pier 8 redevelopment?
The one over there.
Couple people. Probably the vast majority of us haven't heard of it. I myself hadn't heard about this until recently when I started researching more about what's happening in Hamilton and Television City. So Pier 8 redevelopment is a massive redevelopment that's about to happen on Hamilton's waterfront in the downtown area, just outside the downtown, right on their waterfront. Similar to what we've been experiencing on the east waterfront here in downtown Toronto, they're about to see a similar major redevelopment there. So this is what Pier 8 looks like today, if you go there today. Massive piece of land right on the waterfront.
It's actually just, I shouldn't say just, when I say north, it's the equivalent of our south, because you go north, you actually hit the water here in Hamilton. If you were to just keep on going north in Hamilton,
from
where
Television
City
City
is,
yeah.
you actually hit this site.
Right. So this is what it looks like right now. It's, you know, pretty typical old industrial, similar to what you'd see in downtown East Toronto. This is what it's going to become, something along these lines. So, you know, 10 to 12 condo buildings, massive amounts of retail, beautiful world-class park wrapping around the entire project on the waterfront. Major revitalization about to happen here. Here's some more renderings. These are some renderings of just the park portions of it. I mean, absolutely spectacular what is coming down the pipe here for this Pier 8 redevelopment. Here's some more renderings here of some of the public spaces, what it's going to look like. Now, the City of Hamilton recently announced they had a request for proposal, RFP. They put out to all developers, said who's interested in redeveloping this Pier 8 lands. And so they put it out to all developers. What's very interesting is they just announced who the finalists are. And these 5 finalists are now competing against each other to see who wins the right to build it. Stop me if you've heard of any of these builders. Tridel, Great Golf, Daniels, Urban Capital, Fernbrook, and Citizen. All right, I'm sure everyone here has heard of at least a couple of those builders, if not all of them. So very interesting that all of the finalists for this major redevelopment are some of the top builders, not just in Toronto, but in the entire country. These are top-notch builders. What's significant about it is they've never done anything in Hamilton, right? So there's this major shift that's about to happen when whichever one of these big boys of the development world win this contract. Everybody in Toronto is going to be hearing about this, right? It's great that you're here, you're ahead of the curve, you're hearing about it now. People are going to be buzzing about this. Why? Because these are billion-dollar corporations that are going to have multi-million-dollar marketing budgets that are going to be pumping out information and marketing and advertising about this project for years, right? This is a multi-phase project. Are they likely to come in and just do this one project in Hamilton and then get out of there? No. I mean, obviously, if they're going to be setting up here in Hamilton and building, you know, 10 or 12 buildings in Hamilton, redeveloping an entire, you know, mini city, they're going to be doing more and more work in Hamilton. I believe they're going to be expanding more and more into Hamilton. It's all part of, again, the tipping point that we're right on the cusp of here in Hamilton. So this project is $1 billion plus type of project. And this is just one of many more projects, I believe, that are to come in the next few years for Hamilton. I want to talk to you a little bit about the unbeatable value proposition for particularly for us as investors and why we're so excited about investing here. So I want to give you, you're looking to invest in a condo. First place, naturally, you're going to start is Toronto. So let's talk about the average, sort of the average downtown Toronto condo right now if you want to invest in a Toronto condo. So these numbers, if you probably look fairly familiar to you. Let's say you want to get sort of an entry-level condo downtown Toronto, pre-construction. 1 bedroom, around 500 square feet. Price is going to be between, right now, average about $550,000 to up to about $620,000. Alex and I can, if you want, we can give you many, many examples.
We can show you prices.
If some of you know this is true, some of you might be surprised that these numbers say, is it really that high? Absolutely, it is. That is the price right now. Deposits required, you need 20% of that. In 95% of cases, you need 20% down. So you're looking at well over $100,000. You need cash in your pocket just to get into the market in Toronto right now. So don't get us wrong. Toronto, especially downtown, is an amazing place to invest. Always will be. But the reality is, it's just for most people now, it's just not affordable. It's completely out of reach. And so on and so on. We can go down the list. A big issue, a growing issue, is closing costs as well. Closing costs in Toronto are ever growing. The city is putting more and more fees and taxes on builders, and they have no choice but to pass some of these costs down onto purchasers. So that's a big issue.
I think one point, but like even on the development levy side, the city is doubling the development charges to builders, and as Andrew said, that's going to be a pass-through cost rate to the owners. So
Yeah.
this is another cash.
Yeah.
This is cash money on final closing that comes out of your pocket.
This number 5 years ago was half of this, right? Development levies. It's just a reality. As Alex said, you can look it up, city's website. They just doubled development levies on builders. So builders don't pass all those levies to you as the investor, but they do pass some of them down to you. And that's what you're looking at right now. Television City, let's compare. So a one-bedroom at Television City, starting from $291,000, literally less than half the price. Deposit required at Television City, it's only 15% deposit, which is a huge advantage as an investor. 15 versus 20 makes a big difference. You can almost buy 3 units at Television City for the amount of capital required to buy one typical unit downtown Toronto right now. Maintenance fees are more reasonable. Land transfer tax, of course, Hamilton only has one land transfer tax. For now, let's hope that doesn't change and they don't get any bad ideas from Toronto. Development, this is very interesting. Development levies are capped on one bedrooms at $5,000. It's one of the incentives that we've got negotiated with Brad for this opportunity. Not only does it include development levies, it also includes your Tarion enrollment fee. It also includes your utility hookups and a few other things. So tremendous savings right there versus a typical Toronto.
And if you bought pre-construction before, you know that usually you see your 5,000, then plus. This is all wrapped in.
Yeah, very rare to get that kind of thing. So the key thing I want to talk about now is look at the rental numbers. So obviously Hamilton rents are not Toronto rents. We know that. You expect that. But the most interesting part is that they're not that far off. While the prices are significantly lower, the rents are not that much lower. So all this adds up to what I call the cash flow advantage of buying in Hamilton right now. So you're basically getting at half the price, but not half the rents. You're getting about 70% of the rental amount, but at half the price. And this is one of the reasons why Brad says it's, buying at Television City, buying in Hamilton right now, it's kind of like buying in Toronto in 2005 or buying in Toronto when it was $200 per square foot, right? That's sort of the point of the market, where the market is in Hamilton right now. So I'm going to finish my portion before I hand it off to Alex just by telling you about what I'm personally buying. I know it's going to be a common question is Andrew, what unit are you buying? Why are you buying it? So I'm going to be buying a 2-bedroom unit in this project. One of these units here, they're basically mirror images, these 2 units, 2-bedroom, 2-bath units. Beautiful, beautiful floor plans. Again, Alex, you can speak to this too, but can you find a floor plan? Where can you find a floor plan like this right now in Toronto?
These are corner 2-bedroom units, windows in both bedrooms, two washrooms. Usually what you have is you'll have the window in the master bedroom and then what we call an interior 2nd bedroom with sliding doors. This is an incredible 2-bedroom layout.
Yeah, this is the kind of unit that people kill for to buy in Toronto. It doesn't exist. If it does exist in Toronto, a unit like this, a corner unit, wraparound glass, 2 sides, massive oversized balcony, 0 wasted space, very efficient layout. Kitchen island is included, right? All this stuff, you can't get this in Toronto.
And this would be literally, this was on the Young line, easy 1,200.
Yeah, like if it was selling let's say it was selling in a building where the average was $1,200 a foot, this unit would be $1,300 a foot, right? It's a premium unit, but the beauty of Television City is these units, they're priced at very similar price point to the rest of the units. It sounds trite to say, but really all the floor plans in this building, I'm sure you'll agree, are very, very good floor plans. Architects Alliance designed the buildings. It's very well done. So with that, let me hand the clicker over to Alex to take it from here.
So when Andrew reached out to me to do this project, he had known that I've been investing in Hamilton for a while. So follow my money. I've actually been investing in Hamilton for the last 3 years, and I probably have about $300,000 of my own personal cash there. And what I did is I actually bought apartment buildings. So I bought apartment buildings in Hamilton. My model was I'd buy a building, gut the building, change the tenant profile, re-rent it out, refinance at the bank. sounds like a great idea. This is what, when you go to the various investment seminars, they talk about buying and either refinancing, flipping, that kind of thing. The one thing they don't tell you, this is an active investment. I did it for 1 year and I had various business partners. What I found out, it required a lot of upfront capital, a lot of surprise cash calls for money for the construction, and the active part is dealing with the city, dealing with trades, dealing with construction, having building permits that building inspector would come and shutting us down, and we're like, what's going on? And after that 1 year, I'm like, this is a lot of work, and condos are just easy. It's a passive investment. Yeah. And I look at my condo portfolio and see how much money I made in my condo portfolio, and I'm like, I buy a condo, it goes up in value, I rent it out, and I refinance, and I get my equity out, and I just press repeat and buy more properties. This is so simple. With the apartment building model, buy the building, get the tenants out, gut the building, deal with trades, get stop work orders, write checks every month, finally get to the end of 1 year, go to the bank, get the refinance, still have money stuck equity in the building, and I'm like, this was such a headache. And I'm like, condos are just so easy. Now, speaking of my investment in Hamilton, I've done very well in the buildings. The first building we bought for just under $1 million, it's worth over $2 million now, but it took $500,000 of sinking capital into it to renovate the building. So condos are just nice and passive and easy. And the other thing about our apartments and what we saw is just our rents skyrocket. All our apartments are fully occupied with lineups of people trying to get into our building. So that's where I know that the rental demand is there, and I've seen the price increases. And what's important to note is that this is the existing inventory in Hamilton for rental properties. It's rental buildings. There isn't really that new construction condo that people want in Hamilton right now. And this is where Brad is really taking a step forward, bringing his Toronto expertise to Hamilton and providing something that they don't have right now and is in serious demand. And even if you're doing your research online and looking for 1 bedrooms or 2 bedrooms for rent, there's extremely limited inventory out there, and it's not the type of quality that Brad has. So that's what really drew us to this opportunity in Hamilton. And we have the stats to help predict this. So when we're looking at the growth rates in Hamilton, we've seen annual growth of 9% per year on the real estate values. And last year we saw a 23% jump. And guess what? It's still affordable. So when we look at our surrounding communities, when you look at your Burlingtons, your Oakvilles, your Mississaugas, they're trading these new developments at $700 to $800 per foot. And in this project, it's still only $580 per foot. So it has a lot of room still to grow in regards to even the neighboring communities wise, in regards to the values. And what's important is that not everyone wants a white picket fence. Hamilton is a real city. And that's where we see that when Hamilton was first built, it was built as steel town, as we know. And it has its own infrastructure, whereas when you look at your Oakvilles, Mississaugas, and Burlingtons, those are commuter cities that were built as the suburban area to raise your family. And now we see this is where we're in the recovery mode. So is anyone familiar with REIN, the Real Estate Investment Network? Don Campbell. Anyone that does any research into investing in real estate, Don Campbell is the guru of real estate investment in Canada. So recently in the places to invest, in Ontario, Hamilton was ranked the 3rd best area to invest. So we talked about 9% per year.
It's not just this, it's every year they do their ranking. Hamilton is always, a top 1, 2, 3 city for them to invest in.
In the ranking. And what's amazing, so we're seeing 9% year-over-year growth and 23% just last year, but we're still in the recovery mode, which is great. So we're not in where the boom is, and we're not where the slump is. We're right in the happy middle, that Goldilocks area. So you're not getting in when all the other money's coming in and prices are higher, and you don't have to wait it out the bad years and deal with everything. You're right in the middle, just right before it's about to take off. So what's important to realize too is, as I had said, it's a city. Money follows art and culture. So is anyone familiar with West Queen West in Toronto? That was Daniel, yeah. Daniel followed me. We both invested in this same building together called the Carnaby. It was a corner of Gladstone and Dufferin. And you guys probably know that West Queen West was voted the second coolest neighborhood in the world by Vogue magazine a number of years ago. But I invested in 2012 before it was the second coolest neighborhood in the world.
It was the second worst neighborhood at that time.
Yeah. Now, it still had the Drake Hotel, and we all knew the Drake, but you're still beside KMH on one side, and you have Parkdale on the other side. So at that time...
Terrible place to invest, right?
Well, that's
KMH,
what
yeah. It's
horrible.
near bad things, so you don't want to invest there, right?
And if people aren't familiar, the KMH site on Queen West actually has people that were that are convicted but tried as not criminally responsible. There's murderers and everything just right down the road from the Carnaby building in West Queen West.
Real estate values would never go up in an area like that.
And you have Parkdale on the other side, which has the lowest concentration of high-income housing in the city of Toronto. So you get, like this is a horrible area to invest. I saw a tremendous opportunity because that's where the arts and culture was. It's where it was affordable for artists and creators to live in West Queen West. And guess what? People want to hang out with those people. So then you start getting the people that have the jobs, they're making a little bit of money, now they're sort of moving the area because they want to hang out with their cool artistic friends. And now West Queen West, we have all the trendy stores. Just recently, across the street from Bohemian Embassy and around the corner from the Carnaby, there's a restaurant that opened up, an 80s style restaurant that sells hot dogs. It's basically a theme-based restaurant that sells $10 hot dogs, but that's where it is now. It's already got to the level. Queen West.
In
is
Hamilton,
all the way up
hot
there.
dogs are only $5, so it's...
And we're seeing new development in that area sell for over $1,000 per foot in West Queen West, in the area that's still beside KMH and still beside Parkdale, that has the highest concentration of low-income housing in the city, because it's the cool place to live. And guess what? Money follows art and culture, and we're seeing art and culture come to Hamilton. Hamilton's a real city. You can go to a bar, grab a beer. It's all walkability, has the restaurants. That's what's important.
It's affordable, yeah. If you're an artist, if you're creative, if you want to do something, you can't do it in Toronto. Hamilton's a place for opportunity for you, and that's where the artists are going.
And I have a client here, Kirk. He also bought in the Carnaby, so he knows West Queen West of the transformation. And when we were talking about this, he said, Alex, he's like, I hang out in Hamilton right now. So he drives out to Hamilton to go hang out and have fun, and he has friends out there. And what I saw in my first investment condo, that Canary, I bought for $262,400 with a $39,300 deposit. It's currently worth $500,000 right now. And that's the growth that I've seen in that specific property. And we're seeing the same thing that can happen in Hamilton by Brad being the first person that's really bringing that Toronto-based building type to Hamilton. Connectivity. So this is only a 10-minute walk from the Central GO train station. If you watched any of my videos or listened to Andrew's podcast or his videos, it's all about connectivity. It's how I get from point A to point B. My point B is always downtown Toronto. You don't need to live right downtown Toronto, but I have to be able to get to downtown Toronto because that is where the big money is. And people measure their commutes in minutes, not miles. So being a 10-minute walk to the GO train station, I can get to Union Station in downtown Toronto. That means I could live in this building and work in downtown Toronto. And as Metrolinx continues to expand and improve GO train service with electrifying the tracks, bringing all-day service to Hamilton, now you're going to make this now a commuter point. I can live in a real city, Hamilton, have my restaurants, have my bars, have everything that I can enjoy, and I can still commute to downtown Toronto. But that's not all. We also see $1 billion of new LRT investment coming to Hamilton. So Metrolinx, again, is investing $1 billion to build an LRT system.
Next slide there, I think is that.
Yeah, there we go, thank you.
Yeah.
$1 billion, right here along here. Television City, we have the GO train station right here. Television City's right here. So we have a main line that's going to be able to bring us across the city as well. So now we have a local transit system, a dedicated local transit system. We have the connectivity to Toronto, and then even beyond that, GO train is expanding west. It's expanding into the Niagara region, which is another employment center which is important. And now we have Hamilton right in the middle. If I want to go west and I have a job in the Niagara region, I can go there. If I want to get to downtown Toronto, I can get to downtown Toronto. Hamilton's perfectly situated in the center. And then for the win, what is the largest employment sector in Hamilton?
Pop quiz.
Yeah.
Guesses.
Master, the hospital?
When you think of Hamilton, you think
You're-
of think of industries. What's the first industry?
Wait,
Okay, you guys are too smart.
Yeah, you guys have done your research. Exactly.
Most people would think steel, right? The steel town would be the number one, or something blue collary.
Yep.
But
So health sciences is the largest employment sector in Hamilton. And we also see a massive explosion in the food packaging sector as well in Hamilton. So Hamilton will always be known as Steel Town, but guess what? Toronto's known as Hog Town. We were known for pigs before. So the idea that Hamilton is Steel Town will always be there, and there will always be a remnant of that industry, but it's far more than steel now with health services coming in. And think about the affordability of that area in regards to offices. They can move down to this downtown core, and now you have a whole connectivity. You have the infrastructure to move people around. And don't forget its proximity to the US border, which is very, very important. So where are people gonna live? The big thing is, and Andrew pulled up this ad in the CMHC report, there is no rental housing being built in Hamilton currently right now. Zero, none. It's these condos that are gonna fill up the need for those rental housing, because there is zero rental housing being built in Hamilton. Huge opportunity to be the building that's gonna provide the places where people live. And just ask the experts as well. So we have a quote here from Ben Myers. So Ben Myers, he's a research analyst, and builders will reach out to him and go, where is the next place to invest? Where should I be putting my money? Where should I be building? In 2017, that was Vaughan, and we saw Transit City launch. Builders were moving towards Vaughan and building. In 2018, it's all Hamilton. He is gung-ho on Hamilton. And again, Brad is doing a first mover. He's getting in there before, as Andrew showed in the slide, beat the money. Brad's bringing his project here to Hamilton, and that's your opportunity as well. And be the West Queen Wester and investing in West Queen West before it's cool. And what am I buying? I'm buying a one-bedroom unit. These one-bedroom layouts are all incredible, whether you're the 498 square feet to the 508 to the 419. Nice square units, fully usable space. And why I'm investing in a one-bedroom is I just want to dip my pinky toe in. That's all. Just nice little small investment. I already have 3 apartment buildings in Hamilton. I want to diversify.
And you have a lot of 2 bedrooms in.
And I have 3 2-bedrooms in Toronto. So I'm diversifying and adding a 1-bedroom here. The price point for a 1-bedroom, I'm literally investing $45,000 in deposit-wise until 2022. So it's a very low capital investment, where a similar project in Toronto would be anywhere between $100,000 and $120,000 to invest. So for me, it's a no-brainer in regards to the capital I'd have to tie up Toronto compared to what I can do here and diversify my real estate portfolio. And for those first-time investors here, it's a great start-off point in regards to being able to buy into something that has a low capital commitment and a high upside. Because the next thing you do, and if you talk to any of the seasoned real estate investors in the room, that's when you get into the refinancing of equity out in 2022 when it's gone up in value, and you can use that equity to continue to expand your portfolio. So you can use this as a jumping off point to really help to grow what you're doing in real estate. And you have any questions about that, you can talk to Andrew and I as well. Oh, we're gonna do questions right after. You can come find
You can come to us directly, yeah. Let me just hit the pause button, Alex, and see if
Brad's ready to come?
if Brad is here.
Yeah, I can answer.
Oh, there's Brad.
Yeah. Now I'm in trouble. Andrew left me.
Yeah, Brad's here. Let me
Okay,
just pull Brad in.
To clarify, 1-bedrooms aren't you can't do parking in 1-bedrooms. You have to be 1+10 or higher. So the 1+10 is a nice layout in regards to thinking now that young couple that may be a
Brad.
commuter, and if they work from home, then they want to have
wanna,
that separate dense space,
jump
and
in?
maybe they have to go into the city or around the GTA once a week. Then you could buy the parking space with the 1+10.
Yeah,
Or if you're going
yeah.
up to the 2-bedroom.
Maybe you could just touch
Andrew,
on,
so.
what makes your buildings different and why you're excited to be going into Hamilton.
And here we have Brad.
Want to give Brad the mic?
Yeah. Here you can take this one. Yep.
Well, thanks all for coming.
It's just recording, but it's not connected to...
Very excited about Television City. We brought our first tower out in November, and we sold it out in 30 days. This is Tower 2. We're offering the same pricing to you as we were for Tower 1. Andrew did a great job for us early in Tower 1, and so we brought him back for Tower 2. And we'll probably make a partnership with Andrew going forward in some of our other projects. It's very difficult to get into my projects on the ground floor like this. Very, very difficult. I get people
I've only
stopping
been
all the
trying for
time.
5 years, so here we go.
Well, the reason for that is because we have a brokerage in-house. And my brokerage has been around for many years, and we're very adept at selling condominiums. And we've sold almost 30,000 condominiums across Canada, mostly in Toronto. So we usually just do it ourselves. This is a bit bigger project, and it's also Hamilton, which is, by the way, as you've seen here and Andrew's told you, the #1 city, I believe, in Canada. I would think Montreal, Ottawa, and Hamilton are the 3 places to look at to invest your money. And of course, if you live in Toronto, this is the only place to look at, because owning real estate so far away is hard to manage. What makes our buildings different? So if you look at the 15 projects I built across Canada, the time to sell in our buildings is almost negative time. People usually buy units before they go up for sale. Within a building, they hear about a unit coming up for sale, and they sell. And why is that? It's because when I started this, I was a real estate broker, much like Andrew, but maybe sold a little bit more real estate. And
Let me...
yeah, listen. Andrew sells a lot of real estate, but I was selling thousands of units a year. And I was working with a lot of developers as the lead broker with developers. And I got so pissed off at working with developers because of the constant lies that developers tell people. Constant lies. So as a company, we do our best to be as truthful as we can. There's things we don't know about development that come up while we build it. And there's things that happen with government changes and tariff changes and all kinds of things that we can't control. But from the standpoint of trying to deliver what we say we're going to deliver, we do. For instance, our balconies are an average of 6 feet deep. Nobody across Canada does that. All our buildings is that dimension. Why is that important? Because you can sit outside on a 6-foot balcony. We also put gas. Every single building we've ever built, we plumb gas under the balcony. Why? Because in every jurisdiction in Canada, you cannot barbecue on a balcony unless it's plumbed for natural gas. And Canadians live a shitty cold life for 6 or 8 months a year. And when the sun comes out, you want to get out and barbecue. And if you live in a condo and you can, it's terrible. So we do that as a standard. And if you do that, if you go around and look at other developers and say, hey, can I get a barbecue nozzle? Some will say yes, and it's a $2,000 or $3,000 upgrade. Most will say not a chance, because we haven't plumbed the spine of the building. So because we plumbed the spine of the building for that, the other thing that's very important is cooking. And cooking is best with gas. Anyone here who cooks, or you talk to any chef, best with gas. All our buildings, always since day one, we've had cooking with gas. So those are 2 little things that make a big difference in your life. Also, the minimum ceiling height in all our buildings has always been 9 feet to 10 feet. Always. We've never done any building but that. And we're the only developer across Canada that always delivers that high ceiling. And it really makes, for me, it makes a huge difference. But for most people, it does make a difference, because living in a condo is about volume. We also... Early out, I got very much influenced in my career on loss, because when I first started in the development business, no one was building new buildings in the early 90s. They were taking old buildings and repurposing them. And I love that kind of space. So we try to build our buildings to try to mirror what a loft could look like if you built it new. We have a lot of exposed concrete. And we're the only builder, again, across Canada that delivers that constantly. When I built a building in Calgary and people walked in, they're like, what the fuck are you going to do with that ceiling? I said, well, in all our marketing, all our imagery, this is what we do. And now it's the most popular building. Units rent there in a day or 2. Mm-hmm. So all of the things we're doing are different than everybody else. Our floors are better, our kitchens are better, our appliances they fit right into the kitchens. We do very seamless European kitchens. So that's what makes us different. It's called the Lamb Standard. And you're getting in at the ground floor. So I'll leave you with Andrew. If you go out there, and start milling around looking at the floor plans and asking questions. I have 5 or 6 salespeople there that know all about the project. You can talk to myself, you can talk to Andrew, all his personnel, and you can write deals today. I suggest if you want one, you do, because phase 2 will probably go fast. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Brad. You want to pull up the next slide? So, yeah, thank you very much again for coming, guys. That concludes the official presentation part. Just to let you know, if you are interested in purchasing a unit today, as Brad said, we can do that. You're getting a very special incentive package that's not available anywhere else with anyone else. I've negotiated this person with Brad. It was some of these things were a little bit tricky to get, but we got them. So, obviously, the first and most important thing is, as we said, is you're getting the first chance to buy into this tower too. Second thing is the extended deposit. So normally the deposit is 15% over 120 days, 4 months. 15% over 4 months. If you're buying today, you're getting 15% over 1 year. So 5% in 30 days, 5% in 6 months, 5% in 1 year. Cap development levies, so as we talked about before, not just the levies, but carry-on enrollment fee, utility hookups, it's all included in a single cap, $5,000 for the 1 bedrooms, and I believe $6,500 for the 2 bedrooms. Right to lease on occupancy, so no worries there. Some builders are really making this a problem for some people. It's not going to be an issue in this building. And also assignment clause. So if you're interested in maybe flipping the unit before the building is done, you do have the ability to do that. Again, not something that Brad is a big fan of or normally does, but we insisted we had this in our package today for our investors. So there you have it. Alex and I, we're gonna be out here, and there's also sales representatives from Brad's team as well to answer all your questions. So yeah, look forward to chatting with everybody out there. Thanks for coming.
We'll see you there.